Joiner in the Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajagacharya Shabhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Shalaharidas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Shri Naturvan Damodam Ki Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Gangamai Jamunamai Ki Bhakti Devi Shrimati Tulsi Maharani Rainam Sankirtan Ki Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Their Lordship Shri Shri Nitai Mayapur Chandra Ki Shri Shri Nitai Maya Prachandra Ki. Shri Shri Nitai Maya Prachandra Ki. Saviors of Cape Town. Shri Shri Nitai Maya Prachandra Ki. ISKCON Cape Town Yatra Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way we can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is to perfection, fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy. Friend of the poor and Lord and Master. Please be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your divine wings. Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Hare Krishna. His Grace Medhāvī Prabhu Ki. His Grace Medhāvī Prabhu Ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining us for this auspicious 73rd Vyasa Puja ceremony. I think before we go into the official welcome and facilities, we're going to ask the devotees to lead a short kirtan whilst Medhāvī Prabhu is being guided.
Oh, Hare Kirtan, Prabhu. You want to lead Kirtan? Lead Kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You want me to leave this equipment on the desk? Because you know you did
So thank you very much. Thank you very much for that wonderful kirtan. I just want to see that the mic comes over. Okay. I hope everyone can hear me whilst we resolve our technical difficulties. But I just wanted to welcome you again. My name is Medhāvī, and I'll be your MC for this afternoon. Very honored to have the opportunity to welcome you all once again to this auspicious occasion of His Grace Medhāvī's 73rd Vyasa Puja. I was just reflecting on how fortunate we really, really are to be sitting here in Medhāvī. That's perfect timing. Okay. So we're so fortunate to be sitting here today, and I was just reflecting how across the world everyone looks forward to the association of one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, right? We all hanker for that moment when the Guru is coming. But we're especially lucky in Cape Town, blessed really, that we don't have to hanker because we have the direct association of Medhāvī Guru every day, if we so desire. So going into this year, the 73rd year, I think it's really important to realize that and to take full advantage of his presence. So I wanted to read a little bit about his background so that we understand who he is, and then we'll go into understanding the meaning of Vyasa Puja. So His Grace Medhāvī Prabhu's first contact with the devotees was in Memphis, Tennessee, at the university in 1973. He was informed of a deity installation of Shishugonitai in Atlanta, Georgia, over Christmas of that year, and he drove 450 miles just to attend. He then joined the devotees in Knoxville, Tennessee, as part of Rupanuga Prabhu's traveling Sankirtan party. His Grace was engaged in Sankirtan and book distribution and collecting donations for the In God We Trust devotee political party. He first saw Srila Prabhupada at New Medhāvī in late 1974, and again in Atlanta, Georgia in 1975. Following this, he traveled to India for the Bodhpurnam Festival, and it was there that he was initiated by Srila Prabhupada at the installation ceremony at the Krishna Balaram Mandir in 1975. After which he returned to Mayapur and served in various capacities, including kitchen head and part of the Goshala. In September 1975, His Grace was sent to England. He was collecting to return to India, but was encouraged to stay, as Srila Prabhupada wanted British devotees in India because they didn't require visas. Staying in the UK and Ireland doing Sankirtan and distributing books until 1980, he was present during Srila Prabhupada's visit in London in 1976 and also at his last visit in 1977. In 1978, he was transferred to Ireland as Sankirtan leader and as Bhakta leader. In January 1980, he was sent to South Africa, 1980. And from 1981, he was involved in collecting funds for the construction of the Shri Shri Radha Radha Temple, Temple of Understanding in Chatsworth, right up until its completion. His Grace Medhāvī Prabhu was married to Mother Lalita Devi Dasi as part of a grand triple wedding ceremony on the first anniversary of the opening of Shri Shri Radha Radha Temple in 1986. In 1988, he took over the management of the temple right here in Cape Town, where there were only 5 devotees. As temple president here, he raised the devotee population to over 25 and established Cape Town as one of the leading book distribution centers worldwide in the small temple aspect. After traveling to India and America from 1993 to 1995, he returned to South Africa, settling down in Cape Town with his wife and 3 sons. In 2015, he was approved by the GBC body for the position of Diksha Guru and was requested to take the position of Regional Secretary for the Cape Province, including Port Elizabeth, by His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami in December 2015. Just 3 years ago in 2021, he was placed as a member of the advisory body of the South African National Council. And recently, he has been approved for the team of teachers facilitating the Bhakti Vyasa course for His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami and the Mindful Institute. Currently, he assists in Cape Town, giving seminars and classes. This guy's Medhāvī Prabhu ki. So now we want to welcome Ashwin Prabhu to please explain to us of Vyasa.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I hope you all hear me. Having a little bit of technical glitch today, but it's one lesson for me to juggle. Makes me a little bit less nervous. When my Guru Maharaj asked me if I'd like to read the meaning of the Vyasa Puja, I didn't think twice about saying yes, but I was also shaking inside because I've never done such a thing before. So I'm going to ask for your forgiveness if I make any mistakes as I go along. I hope to honor him by reading out this meaning of the Vyasa Puja that my Guru Maharaj himself wrote for the Vyasa Puja of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada in 2018. The meaning of Vyasa Puja by Medhāvī Anartho Parshamam Sakshat Bhakti Yogyam Adoksaji Lokasya Janato Vidvans Chakri Satvata Samhitam. The material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, which is in relation to the Supreme Truth. Bhagavatam 1.7.6. From this verse, we receive an indication of the importance of Srila Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa, the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord who compiled all the Vedic literature. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has unlimited forms of incarnations with which he performs wonderful activities and pastimes. Advaitam Achutam Anadim Anantam Rupam. One of the most important of these incarnations for all human beings is his appearance as Srila Vyasadeva. The Vedic knowledge, which is essential for the spiritual perfection, has been in existence since the beginning of the creation and was originally transmitted directly by Lord Krishna to Lord Brahma, the first created being, through the medium of the heart. Tene Brahma Hrida Ya Adi Karvaye. Later, Brahma instructed his son Narada, and Narada instructed his disciple Vyasadeva. In Vedic culture, everyone must accept a guru. Even though Krishna himself is the greatest scholar and intellectual being, he also does so, to set the proper example. This transmission was done through the medium of sound. At that time, the culture was such that a disciple, by once hearing from the spiritual master, he or she would retain the knowledge throughout their life. Srila Vyasadeva saw by his spiritual vision the coming effects of the age of Kali, which destroys all the good qualities of a human being. Praneyal Pasyusha Sabya Kalab Asmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hi Upadruta. O learned one, in this age of Kali, men have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Bhagavatam 1.1.10. Therefore, at the beginning of this age, 5,000 years ago, Sri Vyasadeva committed all Vedic teachings, which are thousands and thousands of verses, to the written word. He showed the ideal character to the sadhu, of the sadhu, one who lives only for the welfare and development and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. Bhagavatam 1.5, 1.4.12. Understanding the different classes of men, some philosophically inclined and many others not, he edited the Vedas so that they may be assimilated by less intelligent men. He compiled the Puranas, the Upanishads, the Itishas, and so many other literatures. He also prepared the Mahabharata, by which even women, Sudras, and others, friends of the twice born, can see the path of religion. And ultimately, he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, the ripened fruit of all Vedic literature, so that fortunate persons could find the path out of this miserable world. Krishna Swa Dhammo Pagate Dharma Janani Divi Saha Kalva Nasta Drisham Esha Puranarko Dunodita. The Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Bhagavatam 1.3.43. To properly transmit while maintaining the purity of these teachings, the Shastra, they are the Guru and the Sadhu. The Gurus and the Sadhus comprise a parampara, an unbroken chain of disciplic succession for the pure teachings of the Shastra to be carefully transferred. The sweetest mangoes are always at the top of the tree where they receive the most of the sun's rays. They are harvested carefully by being brought down from hand to hand to prevent any bruising or damage. Srila Rupa Goswami, when giving the 64 principles of how to perform the devotional service, mentions as the very first item, Ado Guru Varsya, to accept the shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. The characteristics of a bona fide guru are also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21. Tasmad Guru Prapadyeta Jijnashu Shreya Uttamam Sabde Pare Cha Nisnatam Brahmani Upasa Mas Shreyam. Therefore, any person who has seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of a bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all the material to be bona fide spiritual masters. This disciplic succession includes also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, appearing just over 5,000 years ago, along with his personal associates and the great acharyas, who teach by their personal example. He espoused a life fully dedicated to the service of the Supreme Lord and delivered the Yuga Dharma, the process of spiritual advancement for this age. Kali Kalera Dharma, Krishna Nama Sankirtana. The fundamental religious system in this age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Shri Krishna Charitamrita, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Charitamrita Anja. Srila Prabhupada often stated his success was simply due to the mercy of his spiritual master. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's Bhaktivedanta purports, because he exemplifies the actual quality of a guru and a sadhu, because he connects us to the service of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, because he displays immense compassion for the most fallen, rejected souls of not only the Western world but the entire world, and continues to do so, because he showed his ecstatic love by utilizing every moment of Krishna's service, and for so many other countless reasons. Srila Prabhupada is accorded the respect and honor benefiting Srila Vyasadeva himself, Sri Vyasa Puja. It is the tradition of the Vaishnava culture that on the occasion of the appearance of the spiritual master, his disciples and followers gather before him to express their heartfelt feelings of appreciation and gratitude. Each devotee has a unique experience of how he or she was delivered from a hopeless and miserable situation by the direct mercy of the spiritual master. How a disciple appreciates the spiritual master's intervention on their behalf is an indication of their spiritual progress. A person bound hand and foot cannot release himself by his own effort. Only someone free from bondage can do so. By the compassionate desire of the pure devotee, the Lord agrees for his material energy to release the devotee from her torture and be placed on the pathway of devotional service. To hear each devotee's experience is enlivening for all. It increases our faith in the Guru, the process of devotion, and our affection for one another. Each and every devotee should take the opportunity to express their gratitude to the spiritual master, and how only by his continued mercy does the disciple make further progress. On this auspicious day of his holy appearance, Shri Vyasa Puja, we beg for Srila Prabhupada's mercy to fully dedicate ourselves to the service of his mission and to his lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you very much, Ashwin Prabhu. You know, when I moved to Cape Town 10 years ago, I heard that this was a community where our disciple was living here. And I thought this is incredible. And after some time, it took a while for me to realize who this Grace Medhāvī Prabhu was. And what you were reading just now about how humble Srila Prabhupada was, no matter what he achieved, he always gave it back to, his spiritual master. And I'm thinking now, His Grace Medhāvī Prabhu imbibes this mood of humility so much that he's done so much for our Cape Town Yatra, but always in the background and always giving that credit to his spiritual master. So, and on another occasion, Srila Prabhupada gave a lecture in Atlanta in 1975. And he said, so, Guru is the representative of God.
Either way.
Guru is as good as God.
Yeah.
So here, on this Vyasa Puja day, we are teaching, or they are doing, offering respect to Guru. That means they are learning how to offer respect to God. So if the Lord were to appear personally and walk in through this door, how would we show him that respect and worship? One way is that we would bathe his feet. So we come to that part of the program just before the offerings are read. We will ask the devotees, Priya Mataji, Chaitanya Bhagavad Prabhu, to prepare to help us to bathe the feet of Grace Medhāvī Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. This is an uncomfortable part of the program. But we have some members of the HWPL interfaith group here. And Mother Celia is here, who's a wonderful missionary for peace and a very devout Christian. So we're remembering in the Bible that when Jesus came into Jerusalem, then they bathed his feet as well. So the idea is that when a person has traveled, of course now we travel in cars and trains and airplanes, but back then you walked, or if you were lucky you got a donkey. But either way, you collected a lot of dust, and therefore feet were washed, and people appreciating the standard or the position of a saintly person, they would take that water and put it on their heads, meaning that they submit themselves to that person's guidance and direction. And they appreciate that they're helping people come to the right path. So this is a symbolic ritual, and is very uncomfortable.
Temperature okay?
Yes. Sometimes the water's a little cold too, so people jump out of their chairs. But it's nice and warm today.
Prabhupada ki jai, Medhāvī Prabhu ki jai, Toyo
the water was lukewarm, please. We're now at the part of the program where we're going to ask His Grace Medhāvī Prabhu to read his offering for 2023 to Srila Prabhupada, and thereafter we'll go into an address by His Grace Medhāvī.
Hare Krishna. So as we mentioned, as Ashwin Prabhu was reading, that it's actually the duty of a disciple to glorify their spiritual master, because the spiritual master rescues one from this material world. Srila Prabhupada was asked one time by a news reporter, said, "How many disciples do you have?" And Srila Prabhupada answered, "Actually, everyone is my disciple. Everyone is my disciple." He said, "But some know it and some do not." So that's the problem. We're in this material world, and even though the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, still it's a temporary place, and it's full of various miseries. So a person with intelligence, they have to understand what this world really is and take advantage of God, Krishna's arrangement to get out of here, to get out of the misery of this material world. Here we are in South Africa. Of course, in different parts of South Africa, there are different situations of material prosperity and lack of material prosperity. And people may be in different parts of the world in worse material situations. But that's only one level of pain, physical pain. Most people these days, especially in the Western countries, they suffer mental anguish and mental suffering. I think COVID even proved that. When people couldn't spend time away from their families, they had to stay at home. They couldn't run off to work and spend 8 hours away. They actually had to spend time with their families, and they couldn't do it. It became a very difficult situation. Or they learned from that experience and they became closer knit families like that. So in the material world now, outside of the physical sufferings from diseases and old age, there's the mental anxiety and mental pain. So one can recognize that and recognize how to get out. As we also were reading, that if a person is tied up hand and foot, I mean, in the movies they show how he wiggles here, or he picked a piece of glass, or somehow gotten away. But ultimately, you can't get away. If you're tied up hand and foot, you need someone else to come and free you. So that's the position of the sage. Also mentioning that he's a person who's not interested in material benefits for himself. He knows little is good, and he is satisfied with the very minimum, what is necessary to keep together the body and the soul. But he has so much energy and so much time for helping others. So people should appreciate those who take the trouble to spread spiritual awareness in any religious system or any religious system. Those people who take the opportunity to serve serve not just food and meals, but to serve people by giving knowledge, by giving understanding. So the Vedic literatures are full of that spiritual knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada, by himself practically, left India, the only person who ever did so, in 1965, left India at age 70 in order to benefit the people of the world by spreading this spiritual knowledge that has been in India since the beginning of time. So everyone should appreciate that gift from their guru. There are many gurus, but those persons who help one individually get out of the mire of materialistic pain, they should be appreciated. And one should show, and one should remember what one was before and what one has attained to now. So this was a prayer to Srila Prabhupada. This was last year. Dear Srila Prabhupada, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvisesha Shunyavadi, Pastacha Desatarine. So I entitled the little paragraphs, The Bottleneck. The Bottleneck. I wasn't able to find the reference to bottleneck in the database, but I remember a lecture or room conversation where you mentioned that the human form of life was the conduit for getting out of the 8,400,000 species of life and going back to Godhead. You gave the example of a bottle. The bottle's construction in even ancient societies was to carry a large amount in its belly, but allow the contents to be drunk or poured neatly through its spout or neck. The 400,000 human forms are a relatively small percentage of 8 million species, but the number of actually civilized, cultured, and principled humans makes that percentage minuscule. You mentioned that human society was the opportunity to leave these material forms of life and attain to our eternal spiritual form. But instead of moving upwards, those in the human form were reversing direction back into animal and lower species. You even once boldly declared that, quote, we want to finish the human form of life. This action was creating the bottleneck, a word very commonly used in traffic congestion, but not in spiritual progress. As I write this offering during an electricity blackout, load shedding, your society around the world in many places, notably South Africa, has been deeply afflicted by the disappearance from our midst of your most worthy follower, His Holiness Kadamba Swami, disciple of your also glorious Holiness Jayaveda Swami. Srila Prabhupada, you created many moons. Kadamba Maharaj exhibited practically a perfect light as an enlightened preacher, inspirational leader, and a highly effective manager. He also left this world in the most exemplary manner. He showed, as you did, how to live a dedicated and devoted life, and also how to leave it and accept promotion to more intimate service to Srila Rupa and the other members of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna's confidential circle. With Maharaj's departure As for many of your own disciples, it reminded us of that day in November 1977 when you traveled on from this world to go back home, back to Godhead, or to another location in Lord Chaitanya's Leela of delivering fallen souls. We try to advise Maharaj's followers that he continues to, quote, live in sound, unquote, as you live in your books, lectures, bhajans, morning walks, etc. In the same mood, we try to rededicate ourselves. Those like my unfortunate self who are not fully dedicated, that our only real purpose is to carry your instructions to others. But also the time is coming soon, that we shouldn't be loitering in the material world, but should do our business and get out of here, not creating more of the bottleneck. We've been studying more intently Srimad Bhagavatam, first and second cantos, and the review of our original Acharya, Lord Brahma's gigantic service of arranging the sub-creation is ultimately to offer the conditioned souls the opportunity to return home back to Godhead. Nirodho Muktir Ashraya. Dear Srila Prabhupada, as my material body continues to deteriorate, I leave for cataract surgery in a few minutes. I pray that my enthusiasm to delve deeply into your writings and to distribute their knowledge and your instructions to others will only increase until that time that I breathe my last breath. Your tardy but becoming more determined servant, Medhāvī Das. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, again, the point that, and again with our interfaith community, that there are prophets, there are prophets, there are sons of God, and they provide that perfect example. They're called founder acharyas. They found. The acharya means one who teaches by his example. So, Lord Jesus, Lord Muhammad, they were great teachers, but we need personalities in the present to also give that proper example. And this is what the Krishna consciousness movement is trying to do from the Vedic culture, that there is a way to live the human life. There's a way to live a life in a way that one is dedicated to the service of God. And in that way, one not only experiences material satisfaction, but at the end of one's life, one can return to the spiritual world. So my duty, and in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that every work is covered by some kind of fault, just like fire is covered by smoke. So I ask for your blessings, so that you may help me become a better servant of Srila Prabhupada and a better person for helping guide you according to his instructions onto the spiritual path. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Medhāvī. So, Medhāvī is the spiritual master of a number of devotees within our yatra who are present here today. And I've been looking forward to expressing their gratitude by reading their offerings. But he is also a mentor to many senior devotees who also want to read their offerings. But before we start, there are a few that have come in from all over the country, all over the world, I think, that we'd like to read. I'll start off. This comes from Achyuta Prabhu and Anakoya Devidasi from East London. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatati Shatarine. Dear Medhāvī Prabhu, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Krishnadas Kaviraj lists the following 26 good qualities of a Vaishnava. Number 1, he is very kind to everyone. 2, he does not make anyone his enemy. 3, he is truthful. 4, he is equal to everyone. 5, no one can find any fault in him. 6, he is magnanimous. 7, he is mild. 8, he is always clean. 9, he is without possessions. 10, he works for everyone's benefit. 11, he is very peaceful. 12, he is always surrendered to Krishna. 13, he has no material desires. 14, he is very meek. 15, he is steady. 16, he controls his senses. 17, he does not eat more than required. 18, he is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. 19, he offers respect to everyone. 20, he does not desire any respect for himself. 21, he is very grave. 22, he is merciful. 23, he is friendly. 24, he is poetic. 25, he is expert. And 26, he is silent. Whilst all of the above qualities can be seen in your grace, the one that has been the most prominent in our interactions with your grace is that of 19. He offers respect to everyone. You bring life to the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 18. Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Brahmane Gavi Hastini, Suni Cheva Svapakecha, Pandita Samba Darshina. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater, or an outcast. This is a very endearing quality that allows us to be closer to you. It makes being in your Sangha very attractive, and it makes you easily accessible, thereby allowing us to get the mercy from you. We are forever grateful for all the privileged opportunities you have given us to serve in East London and in Cape Town. We pray on this most auspicious day of your Vyasa Puja that Srila Prabhupada's mercy, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, you continue to shower us all with your mercy and continue to inspire us as a living example of Vaishnava qualities. The servants of Achyuta with us and Anakoya Devidasi. Islam. Okay, we are going to just wait for Gokulesh Prabhu, who would like to also offer a few words. Perhaps he's coming right now.
check up a little bit chat. Hi Krishna. Very grateful to be here with you this year. The last Vyasa Puja. Didn't have the good fortune, but we're happy to be here with you today. And to all of Medhāvī Prabhu's disciples, aspiring disciples, we wish you a wonderful Vyasa Puja occasion as well. Very happy to see Kirtan Prabhu here and others. I was thinking that for me this day very much exemplifies leadership in Krishna consciousness. If you look at the life of Medhāvī Prabhu, actually that's what it means to be a devotee. It means to be a leader. It means to be transforming oneself and acting to transform others. So if you look at the life of Medhāvī Prabhu, you can see such a person. Leadership in Sankirtan, leadership in management, when he was managing the center, leadership now as a spiritual master, taking on the responsibility for so many disciples and devotees. Just being a leader in so many ways. So I was thinking that this means a charya and an example for all of us to follow. Medhāvī Prabhu is also a leader in that he's shown us how to maintain a successful Vyasa ashram. For so many ways, he has shown by his practical example how to live a life of successful Krishna consciousness. And it's very inspiring, very enlivening, very practical for us to follow step by step. So, sometimes the heroes that we have in our lives come with lightning and thunder, and, huge soccer arenas and stages and Grammy awards and all of these things. But all of that is actually useless. But the life of that Medhāvī Prabhu has lived and will continue to live is actually worthy of emulation and worship. So I would just today like to thank him for being an exemplary leader in Krishna consciousness, someone who we can faithfully follow, take instruction from, and hope to one day emulate in some small way. Hare Krishna. His Grace Medhāvī Prabhu ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Sai Gopal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gopalesh Prabhu. We'd now like to invite His Grace Shiv Shankar Prabhu to come and read an offering from Smriti Krishna Prabhu and also his own.
Hare Krishna, this is the offering of Sri Krishna Prabhu. Dearest Medhāvī Prabhu, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. It is a sublime opportunity to be able to offer our humble appreciation and wishes to you on this most auspicious day of the Shri Vyasa Puja. I initially heard of you and